Hello everybody and welcome to BrobusCast's return. Whether this will be out before I'm gonna get that one, who knows, and who cares. I'm Brobuscus, coming back from stuff. I'm doing a horrible job. This just goes to show how much little effort I'm putting into this. Okay, joking aside, ZDogg's here too. I've been pushing that for way too long.
Hi.
Wow.
Here.
What?
This is bad.
Wow. Alright, so BrobusCast comes back and we're here with butchered and generic intros.
Well.
Okay.
It's not like this is gonna be my last one anyway, so.
True. Okay. So,
So episodes happen.
yeah, episodes happened and there's not a lot. Which is great because it makes up for the fact that that the Death Battle podcast has so much to catch up on.
Yeah, just cherish it while we can.
Oh yeah. Cherish the freedom of little effort and little things to think about because that's going to be here for this video and then it's leaving and probably never coming back. Oh, let's hope it comes back. Okay, joking and sarcasm about putting little effort into any of my videos aside. Yeah, episodes happen. Dialect.
Both were pretty okay.
Yeah, they're okay. Let's start off with the latest one that came out since our last recording. Mewtwo versus Black Hole Greymon.
Yeah, this one was.
It exists. That's all I can say. Basically, to sum up my personal thoughts, this fight exists. It's cool. It's okay. I'm contradicting myself. It was fine. It's not the best, it's not the worst kind of thing. It's a decent it's an average point in the show, I guess. And there goes my mail. If anyone heard that on the recording, I'm sorry. I can't do anything to stop that, even though it's super freaking annoying. Okay. What is there's? Oh, we were like 100% wrong.
Yeah, Black
It was mostly on me because I did the research and came to the conclusion that Mewtwo would win, and I actually got the stats for Mewtwo pretty all right. I got his power, I got his DC, I got his speed. I got his speed right, I got his DC right, I got his powers right, because that's just the perk of being a humongous Mewtwo fan. The problem was I severely underestimated Black Hole Greymon, and just Digimon as a whole. Because I was aware that people put the higher tier Digimon at around Galaxy level and stuff. Some people put Multiversal as well, which I'll take with a grain of salt for right now, at this point. And I only saw that from Versus Battles Wiki, and if anyone watching this video knows anything about me, you know that I always take Versus Battles Wiki with a humongous grain of salt.
Yep.
And for reasons that exist, the downplay and overplay of certain characters are very much real on that site. Some of it's fine, but they tend to be a little they tend to wink certain characters and downplay certain characters. Country level Rayman, you freaking kidding me? Pretty
Anyway,
sure Rayman's way above that. Anyways, this fight, and there goes my
it,
freaking mail again.
it was in my. Can I get my opinion?
Sure.
It was pretty good. Like it wasn't like my favorite of the series. I still think Leo versus Tommy.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's about, in my opinion, it's at least above Batman v Punisher. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. Like a lot of the jokes in the analysis were pretty funny, especially the love it. You're never sure what's better than Batman.
Oh yeah. I found that super annoying. Although those kind of jokes always annoy me, so meh. Difference of opinions, I guess. I don't know. I found the jokes kind of mediocre in my opinion. Like they weren't,
Not all of the people
yeah,
say, though,
they weren't bad. They weren't good. It's just it's just a different humor. I'm not saying if you crossover X guys are watching, which I'm pretty sure you are.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. I hold nothing against whoever. I hold nothing against whoever wrote this episode. It's just different humor styles, I guess.
You just gotta be like, in the right taste.
Yeah. Which unfortunately I have like the most inconsistent and possibly the worst sense of humor ever. The talk about the future in the very beginning was funny. I rewatched it like literally 20 minutes ago, and I'm actually not even kidding. And I had noticed in the intro before they introduced the characters, there was a clip where these two coffins or whatever like fell over like dominoes, like literal dominoes. Had this weird sound effect to it, and this caption that said "The future is great,"
Yes, the future
which
is great.
which I laughed at. I didn't even notice that until I rewatched it. Also, I was reminded that they used a clip from the in the intro. They used a clip from the 1986 Transformers movie, which was very nostalgic to me. And now I want to rewatch that movie because it's so good.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's get into the animation, right?
Oh yeah, we've been dancing around all of this.
Yeah,
Animation was fine.
it's okay.
It's fluid. It's clean. It's got decent sprites. The problem is that I honestly, my biggest problem was the pacing. It felt
Yeah, that's a part of
it just felt kind of slow, which really dragged it down to me. Um, uh,
some parts it kind of felt a bit faster.
yeah.
Like the pacing wasn't consistent.
No, the pacing was not consistent. The pacing was not consistent, and when it was at its low points, it was so noticeable. It's not even funny. Also, the animation definitely sparked one of my personal pet peeves. When Mega Mewtwo Y and Black Hole Greymon X were clashing, you know the generic Dragon Ball Z joke of you can't see us, but you can see that we're attacking because of the shockwaves and everything. It doesn't fit when the camera is not shaking because then it just doesn't seem like there's any impact. Also, I didn't notice any sound effects, which is another thing. Although I could be wrong, I was kind of distracted, but by stuff in my house. So just unfortunate timing, I guess. I don't know. But no, I have an absolute pet peeve when people don't shake the camera whenever they do that joke, which is why I love why I love when the Keela versus Hiei Feminine Melee did that. Um, and Mewtwo versus Shadow as well did that, because it feels like there's an impact to it. Whereas when you don't shake, when there isn't any like camera shaking, it just doesn't feel like there's anything to it. It's like, oh, there's these shockwaves, okay, and then we're moving on and forgetting about it. Well, it wasn't bad. I definitely don't regret watching any of it. Like, it was definitely good. I feel so bad talking about this because the Crossover X guys are some of my favorite people to talk to. And I definitely acknowledge when they make good stuff.
Yeah, it's just like they're not huge flaws. They're just
No, they're noticeable, and I have to, unfortunately, being the I've always been declared the negative kind of guy in my family, which I see why, but that just comes with being a realist. Do I wish I was a negative one? Heck no, but I guess I am. But yeah, I will acknowledge when there's stuff I don't like.
speaking of which, the voice acting.
Huh?
Speaking of which, the voice acting.
Oh, the voice acting. Again, it was fine.
Yeah, it was okay. I think like it's more common for Black Organ.
Yeah.
It's mainly because he has a very distinct voice from a lot of characters.
Yeah, I mean Mewtwo does too, but it's not as distinct as Black Hole Greyhounds. Nemesis was fine as Mewtwo. I guarantee if people don't know this, but I auditioned to play Mewtwo. They had a casting call club auditioning for this episode and the next one coming up, but we'll get to that in a second. And by second I mean who knows when. But if people know that and they hear me complain about the voice acting for this episode, they'll probably say it's because I'm salty I did not get the part for Mewtwo. No, it is not. It's not. I'm legitimately not salty that I did not. I'm upset, sure, but I'm not at all salty that I did not get the part. I'm totally okay with it. That's
Because I auditioned as well.
yeah, ZDogg auditioned as well. Nemesis Bloodreich I don't know. Right, thank you. He was the one who got the part, and he was fine. He was okay. He wasn't bad. Definitely, there's definitely better and definitely worse. And no, I'm not one of them. I'm leaving myself out for this one. There were better ones in my opinion. Although my thought process and theirs are completely different. So whatever rolled through their minds, pretty much said, "Hey, let's give this role to this guy," and then here we are. The guy who played Black or Greymon, his name escapes me in a moment. Nor, right. I won't lie, I honestly didn't like him. He wasn't awful. That's pretty much the best I can say. There was definitely more room for improvement there than there was for Mewtwo. Which honestly, that's kind of the big issue I have. That's honestly the biggest issue I have, is that while I don't think it was intentional at all, especially considering Mewtwo lost. I honestly feel like most of the problems I have with this episode come from Black or Greymon, just as a whole. Like, it's mostly him. It's so weird. It's not because I don't like the guy or I don't like Digimon. I watched the first 2 episodes of Digimon. They're actually pretty good. And Black Grandma is one of my favorite characters ever. So it's not like I'm saying that Black Greymon is just the problem with the episode, but there's definitely more negatives I have involving him, including just the personal, nitpick that I wanted him to lose. Oh well, you can't get everything. It's just that I am desperately digging for a win at this point. Although I guess I will be 100% fair. Black Greymon won at a time where I was actually doing pretty good, I think. Like, not just with Battle Royale, but just with versus in general, my preferred characters were winning at the time. Now I look back and I want those days back. I really want those days back.
Oh, trust me, it looks like it'll be coming up soon.
Oh, I certainly hope so. Because I am desperate.
Yeah. But anyway,
overall it was fine. It outside of the next one we're about to talk about, because we haven't even mentioned it yet. When you compare this to the rest to the episodes beforehand, it's probably the second best, just below Tommy v. Leo.
Yeah.
But that's real. But honestly, that's really just because, like, Samus vs. Mega Man was pretty much just a here's what to expect, and there's so much wrong and there's so much bad about it. But that's just because it's the first time. So room for forgiveness is more present compared to the rest of the episodes. Like, if any episode deserves, like, forgiveness for being what it was, it's that episode. And then there's Punisher v Batman, which is pretty much almost just as okay as this episode, honestly. I guess this one, like, their animations are kind of the same to me. And my preferred characters lost both of them. I think I put this above Batman v Punisher simply because, while it wasn't the best, it did have the fact that it did have voice acting in general. Just helps out. I mean, if the voice acting was bad, then that probably wouldn't play a factor. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. And I guess it's just the whole idea of the matchup interests me more here than it does in Batman v Punisher.
So overall,
I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it exists. But all in all, it's okay. Solid 6.5 out of 10 for me.
yeah, I'd agree with that. Maybe a 7.
7 if being generous, in my opinion. But that's just me being the negative guy I am, apparently. I really wish I wasn't, and I'm not going to be as negative for the next one. I promise.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely cool of you.
I will boot you from this call.
Sub-Zero. Oh wait.
Yeah, we're moving on. Subby versus Kula.
Yeah.
Sub-Zero. I honestly hate calling them that out loud. Sub-Zero versus Kula Diamond. We're dancing around it.
Gosh damn.
Okay.
This one was okay. It wasn't as. I'd say it's like in the middle between Batman v Punisher and Black Greymon versus Mewtwo. In my opinion.
I can see it. I honestly put this slightly above Mewtwo versus Black Greymon, like slightly. Just because, like, it still has the same problem Mewtwo versus Black Greymon has in its pacing. In fact, it's arguably more noticeable here than it is in Mewtwo versus Black Greymon. And and Mewtwo versus Black Greymon is a more interesting idea, and they followed behind it.
Yeah, I mean, the concept of this idea is, I really don't.
It's okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say cool, but I didn't want to make it
My limited knowledge on King of Fighters, I almost said Killer Instinct. My limited knowledge of King of Fighters kind of gets in the way of being interested in this matchup. Plus, I knew going into it that Sub-Zero was going to lose. I honestly really wanted him to win. I know people have their feelings about Mortal Kombat as a whole, which does unfortunately affect Sub-Zero. Which, okay, whatever. Opinions are opinions. I don't know. I guess I really just wanted him to win. Mostly because you can compare my knowledge of King of Fighters to the plain flat surface of my desk, meaning barely any.
Well, I thought it was interesting to learn about Cooler Diamond, especially since
Yeah. I was talking with other Discord servers on Kula's higher tier feats, which did give her the win. You know, the whole large continent relativistic stuff. They were saying that it's non-canon. I don't know if it's legit, and I honestly don't care. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's something there on Kula that still gives her the win, which is just kind of to be expected with Mortal Kombat matchups. Okay, so analysis was good. It's right. It's right. They got all the points right. Jokes were a thing. I hate ice puns, so.
As he showed earlier.
Yeah, I hate ice puns, so the jokes honestly were very missed to me.
I like ice puns, but
See, that's the difference between me and him. Anyways, so we've covered the analysis. Now on to the animation.
It was really good. It just, for me, it felt too short. Like, it felt like it should have gone longer.
I mean, when you take out the fact that the animation doesn't determine the outcome of the, like, it doesn't like 100% affect how, like, it's not 100% accurate to how the fight would go. When you take that out, honestly, this fight could have been shorter. But aside from that, I agree. It was a bit short, and the ending was a bit it was sudden. It was anticlimactic. I didn't see it coming, which I guess is fine. I guess it's fine that it didn't see it coming. The fact that it's anticlimactic though puts it down.
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere. Like, Sophia freezes her, and then like she goes out, and then suddenly she cuts her head off.
It's like I'm frozen. Now I have broken free, and now and oh gosh dang it. So I've just been frozen, and then I just broke out, and then my opponent is ready to fight me, and then I just kick his head off. Okay.
Overall, I thought it's really those two problems. It was a bit too short for my liking. Yeah, it was a bit too short for my liking. Everything else in between was actually pretty good.
Well, for me, when you add on the aforementioned pacing, it also puts it a bit down. But I'm not gonna say like don't make things really really fast. And I'm always like, fights can be slow if they fit, and this one kind of fit because outside of like when you look at these two, you don't really think they're that fast. Like they're not like this isn't like a speedster battle where the like it's a battle of speedsters where and then there's an animation which is really slow.
Flash versus Quicksilver.
I was totally not referencing that at all. That was legit. That I was legitimately trying to clear my throat. For people wondering, although they probably don't care. I don't know. It was okay. It was enjoyable to watch. It definitely adds on to the more It's definitely more fluid than most fights before this, minus maybe Tommy v. Leo. And even then, like it's definitely a close runner-up when it comes to fluidity, if that's a word.
Yeah, I mean, not to give Natumi 007 the animator too much slack. It's just professional.
Yeah, like this episode so far, this podcast episode so far has been pretty negative. Like they're not like super like holy crap, I regret watching this. I want the 20 minutes I spent back. They're not. It's nothing like that. But just because this episode has been pretty negative, I should probably give a bit of a side note, and I'll probably do the same thing at the beginning while I'm editing this. Just for side note, DJ Tiki and the guys over at Crossover X, I should note that even though this episode is so far pretty negative, we hold nothing against you guys.
Yeah, you guys do make some that you can improve on in the future.
Yeah, so think of sometimes when I watch sometimes when I'm watching podcasts about like versus debating, no examples will be named, hopefully, and they're super negative. It just feels like they're talking crap about the show and the people behind it. I know they don't intend to, but it's just what it feels like. I know they're more like giving criticism, like why, like here's why we hate this video. Here's what, and so please improve next time. So that's what it actually is, and that's what we're here to do.
Yeah. And we really like your show. Like we really like Royale.
Oh yeah.
It's one of my favorite. I don't know about you, but it's one of my
Yeah.
favorite shows.
Anyways, so yeah, this is just a side note, and we'll get back to what we were talking about after this is all over. But just to wrap up this side note, so we can keep going with Sub-Zero versus Cool Diamond. This is not in any way saying these were bad. Please don't do this again. This is just us giving our. It's just honest thoughts, and sometimes honest thoughts can't be good. So, if this is any way sounding like super uber negative, I apologize, and we're not trying to talk crap. But you know, sometimes there are little points, and unfortunately we have bumped into them. So sorry. Yeah. Alright, that wraps up the side note. Back onto what we were saying. My issue with the animation, I mean, aside from what we talked about earlier, my issue with the animation, it's not so much the animation, it's just the fight. I found it personally, I found the fight to be kind of boring. Like it's not their fault. Even if they were at the top of their, I say this a lot, but even if it was them at the top of their game, like if it was super, like forget all the complaints we've said before, um, if even if it was at the top of their game, just they could not make this matchup interesting to me. It's just kind of the problem. That when the matchup itself isn't interesting, the whole episode kind of suffers as a result. And unfortunately, it's just kind of this whole idea of Sub-Zero fighting Cool Diamond just doesn't appeal to me as much. Like I'm not saying that Sub-Zero or Cool Diamond should have fought other people. This definitely is a matchup that makes sense. It's not like a super bad matchup, like say some matchups Death has done. It's just not interesting to me. Just as a fan of Sub-Zero, as a fan of Mortal Kombat, it's really just because I'm not a fan of King of Fighters or Kula, to be honest. Although if I ever get into King of Fighters, which might happen, maybe I'll have a difference of opinion. But as of right now, this wasn't really like, there was no real like super hype moment or whatever. There wasn't anything like super exciting. It was just cool animation. I mean, it was good animation, but like versus animations are supposed to have something, at least one scene, whether it's small or whether it's something big or something small. There's supposed to be something there that's exciting. It's not just supposed to be like, hey, look at this animation, it's super cool. But unfortunately, that's just kind of what this one was. It's just good animation, and that's about it. There's just nothing. Go on. Oh yeah, and decent analysis. Well, actually, the analysis was good because they got all the actual analysis was good. They got all the points right and everything. And they got the winner right. So. Well, just friends. But my pleasure to get to have my preferred character win these things, whether they're researched or not. It's really itching at this point. So please, someone out there, please. Well, someone I'm a fan of, rather. Please have can my preferred character win at some point? Yeah, probably. But if I just have like it just feels like at this point I have the worst luck ever. But we'll see. So yeah. It exists. It exists. It's okay. It's literally almost the exact same thing as Mewtwo versus Black Hole Greymon. Honestly, it exists. I'm happy it exists. I'm happy it was done. I'm happy it's a thing. And it's not bad. So.
Amen. I can agree.
Now, whether it's good is just kind of up for debate. But let's keep this. This has been pretty negative so far, so let's try to. If it has to be negative, then by all means. But
yeah, well, I think a more positive topic would be our next fight, which I'm pretty hyped for.
Yeah, it's not like super uber exciting. It's not like this. It's not the best matchup ever, but
I feel it's just the right amount of hype.
Yeah, although I do hope for more hype in the future.
I'm sure we'll get there, but the matchup, can I say it?
Sure.
The matchup is Guts from Berserk versus Wolverine from Marvel Comics.
Yeah, two two cool characters and a matchup that looks great on paper, and we actually saw a bit of the animation in the next time reveal, and it looks so good.
Yeah, it looks
Like let's go. I mean, for like, I'm calling it. I'm not actually calling it, but It's just this like, watch how the episode just takes all of what we're saying right now and throws it out the window. I really hope not, but
yeah, I hope not.
but you know, luck. What's that? Luck. What the heck is luck? Anyways, the animation so far, it looks like it drops my constant complaint on the pacing of everything, and it's fluid and it looks good. The sprites are great. They're using the exact same sprites for Guts that everybody seems to use. It's hilarious. I mean, there's probably nothing else. True. It looks like they're using a bit of a reskinned Wolverine sprite. It looks like I mean, it definitely looks like it was based off of the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 sprites, which are super good. But it looks a bit like, in terms of what Wolverine looks like, it just looks different. Now, style-wise and movement-wise, it looks exactly the same. It's just the color scheme. It looks different. Not to say it in a bad way, but it looks good. Also, before we get into what everyone talks about when it comes to upcoming versus episodes. Another side note: there's another casting call club. I will probably leave the link in the description if you want to test yourself. But just a heads up, me and ZDogg auditioned for it.
Yep.
In fact, I auditioned for both.
And I better get both, or else it ain't gonna be pretty.
I'm not gonna bother. It's 11 o'clock where I'm at. I'm super tired, and I'm actually like I sound like I have no emotion in my voice whatsoever. So I'm not even gonna bother. Besides, if you wanna check it out, just go to the site. A link in the description will probably be there. If not, just check out Crossover X. There's a video on it.
I'll also know, if you're gonna audition, the casting call club shuts on January 3rd.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you're gonna join, the audition ends on the 3rd of January. So you have, if I'm not mistaken, you have the rest of today, which is Thursday at 11:03 at night. So you have about an hour today, which is probably not when you're watching this.
No.
You have.
It really depends on when this gets uploaded. So.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're editor, make sure you put up the date of how much time you have left at the end of this video. Okay?
Yeah. Please do that, future editing man. That's pretty much become a persona now. So yeah, we auditioned. We hope. Will we get the part? I have no freaking clue. I haven't been keeping up, so I don't know how good everyone else has been doing. I've kept up with ones that auditioned before I did. And I also just heard ZDogg audition for Wolverine. And yeah. Although I said this to the Crossover X guys, and I stand by that. I said this immediately after I sent in my auditions, and I still stand by this. If I'm gonna get any of these two parts, I'm more likely to get Guts. Because
I actually haven't listened to your Guts.
the problem with doing Wolverine is that I try it with with my audition for Guts, I based it off of his edited voice clips in his Guts versus Nightmare fight. Like, you know how his voice clips in that animation were pretty much like they were Siegfried in Soul Calibur. It was Siegfried in Soul Calibur 4, but they were edited to sound like Guts' voice, which is kind of what I based it off of. And Wolverine, I tried my hardest. It's honestly way harder to do, like, for practice. Like, when I do it on my own, it sounds okay. Like, it's not actually that hard. But when I'm doing it for, like, actual practice and for auditions and stuff, it's so hard. Especially considering how I don't exactly live in the biggest house ever, and I'm still a part of a family of 4. And even though when I did that, one was in a bedroom sleeping probably, and the other 2 were at the other side of the house. Wolverine. The auditioning for Wolverine involved screaming, which when I do when I act out fight scenes on my own, which I totally do, and I have no regrets. Whenever I scream, I'm actually like whispering actually, so I'm not like actually screaming at the top of my lungs. Sorry, what? Cut out again. Just can't stop. I got what you were saying, but you cut out again. Just but I tried my hardest. Will I get it? Probably not. But we shall see. But it'd be nice to. I don't know if it would affect if because I will ask. It's not really mandatory, but I will ask if I do get either of these 2 parts. I do hope that I can voice it without knowing who wins. Just so I can still do a reaction to it. And even if I can't, whatever, fine. I'll do a video explaining everything.
I'm sure they could do that.
I hope so, but I hope so. I hope so, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised one way or the other, and I honestly wouldn't be disappointed one way or the other. But yeah, so so basically the TLDR is that this fight is a thing. It looks cool. The animation looks good. This involves 2 quality characters, even though I've never actually watched or read Berserk. And we auditioned to play the characters. So I'm just wishful thinking, but imagine if I got Guts and you got Wolverine. Oh, that'd be funny.
Dear.
That's probably not. That's
ZDogg versus Brobuscus, Battle of the Century.
Heck yeah.
And we have our time.
Yeah. It's wishful thinking. Again, luck can be a thing. And recently it's been a bad thing, but oh well. Yeah, so
we should also probably go into who wins. What do you think?
I guess we should. I mean, we don't have to, but I guess we should. I'm kidding.
I mean, to be fair, there is a whole video explaining your thoughts on that. But
oh yeah. There's this video that some random guy made that's actually really good, and you should probably go watch it. And it kind of explains how this matchup. It kind of explains how this. Oh, okay, this sounds way too much like a desperate, shameless plug. Yeah, it was me. I
was gonna say plug one.
Yeah, I'm the random guy who made the video. I honestly, quality. Okay, it's my first. That was my first video make with the new software. So, I like how it turned out. I think there's room for improvement, but I think it turned out good. If you watch that, you can have an idea of how I think this fight's gonna go. So honestly,
I
basically the TLDR is not there's like literally no category that goes in Guts' favor. The best he has is equal advantages, so I just kind of gave it to him just for benefit of doubt because I kind of went into it expecting Wolverine to win. Um, and nope, it doesn't help. He's screwed. It's so weird. I tried thinking of something because the crossover X guys are so insistent that this is closer than people make it out to be. I honestly don't. I'm curious as to their thought process on that.
Okay, I think like they'll probably bring up something like about Guts breaking the berserker armor, which I feel like is his biggest like problem. But
I don't see it. I basically can sum it up as like you can make stretches for giving Guts certain advantages, but I honestly don't see how you can stretch how much of a stretch you can make to give Guts the victory here. There's just too much working against him, and it's not even just because of he has an adamantium skeleton. Like that's the argument people will bring up all the time when it comes to Wolverine. It's like he wins because he's indestructible. It's a bit of an NLF, but I honestly can't really find much to prove against it. But although I guess what makes it a problem to debate with is that that's literally the only argument people will bring up. So what I did is, for my prediction video, is I basically boiled it down to how Wolverine still wins even if he didn't have the adamantium skeleton. And it still seems clear to me that Wolverine wins. Like it's just he's faster, he's tougher. Well, if he didn't have the adamantium, I would probably give Guts the durability edge. Yeah, he's way faster, he's way more versatile, he's way more experienced. There's just so much more that works, and he scales to things that, and he's pierced through things way tougher than anything Guts has. So like I was told that I was asked like how can Wolverine break through the berserker armor? And I'm like, yeah, probably. With pretty easily, actually. There's just too much Wolverine has broken through before that are way tougher than berserker armor. Like the Thing, Iron Man, Colossus. Just general like things that are just way above the berserker armor. And then obviously throw it like when you take into account that most of what I gave Guts was just benefit of the doubt stuff, and you take that out, it just all just kind of ties together. So. Yeah, rip Guts. Oh, also, I don't know about ZDogg, but I 100% want Wolverine to win.
I'm rooting for Wolverine. I just don't want to see Guts die.
I can see it, but I will always root for the character I prefer, unless I don't care as much. Like if they're characters I don't really care for in a matchup, I don't really care for. I'll probably just root for whoever I think wins. You just kind of feel bad for Guts. Just kind of want to silently rooting for Guts just out of pity. Although pity's probably not the right word to use, but it's the best one I can think of right now.
So yeah,
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Will this will this
wait, has
will this be the best episode? Probably. Uh, hopefully. Does it have the potential? Yes. Did other matchups have the potential and didn't live up to it all the way? Yes. um, but regardless, again, we tried to keep negativity out of this, but that didn't work.
that was very positive. So.
The Guts versus Wolverine topic was positive. The rest was kind of in the middle. What started negative turned okay. There's our title probably.
I think ZDogg versus Brobuscus.
That just depends on if this comes out before the casting call ends, and that also and even then that also depends on if we get the parts or not.
True. Also, has the animator actually been stated for this one?
His name is Drew. I have no idea who he is, but I actually asked, I think a week ago. I was asked like who did the animation this time because it looks good. And Nocturne Bros, I think, came and said oh no, it was shoot, I think it was Galactic Attorney. Said that that the animator's name is Drew, and I have like literally no idea who that is. Drew, if you're watching, Drew, if you're watching, I'm sorry. When you were brought up, you were new to me, and you're still kind of new to me. Yeah, it looks promising, so please do good. I expect trees to get cut down. I'm just saying.
I mean, it's in a forest. It's pretty much expected.
I know, but sometimes we expect like some part of the background to get destroyed, and it doesn't. Like what the heck? The recent Sephiroth vs. Virgil death metal did the same thing. Like I expect this whole area to just fall apart, and none of it did.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, we're getting off topic. That will be saved for later. Okay. So that's all the battle royales we had to talk about, and now there's just one more tiny little thing that will probably last like 2 minutes.
A new series.
Yeah, Crossover X has a new series, and it's not Turbo Mode. Unfortunately, even though I really want to see how Turbo Mode's going. It's Patreon Punch Out, which is basically matchups that are suggested solely on Patreon and are made because money. That's probably the most the most butchered explanation behind the show ever, but I guess that's really all I can think of. We're just butchering things today. And we have their pilot episode, which is literally it really just shows what to expect. It's Goku versus Gon.
Kid Goku.
Well, the title said Goku, okay. Yeah, it's Kid Goku versus Gon. The title says Goku versus Gon, which is why I said that. But forget it. It's Kid Goku now. I mean it doesn't help. I bet Gon is glad that it was Kid Goku, because he would have gotten destroyed, and then he actually did. Anyways, fight exists. It's honestly like it has this. While it doesn't have the same pacing problems the last two had, it does have one similar problem, is that it's just not exciting. There's just not a lot of holy crap, this looks so freaking cool.
I mean, that part where Kid Goku
I don't either. This is the moment in our lives when we wish Richard was on. Um, oh well. Um, uh, really, honestly, in my opinion, the only part of this that's memorable was the ending. Um, uh, also King Ike 75 animated it, and he's one of my favorite animators for Crossover X right now. Um, although Drew looks like he's doing good. Um, but yeah, this it's good. It's not great, but it's just kind of it's kind of a similar summary behind it. Uh, it exists. I'm happy it exists, and I and I'm happy it was done. And that's pretty much it. Also, Kid Goku was freaking annoying, which is actually 100% accurate to how he is in Dragon Ball. Um, was it English dubbed Kid Goku? I think it was. I think it was Japanese subbed Gon, which was what I hate. I most people would say I have a burning hatred for English dubbed animes and love Japanese subbed animes, which I am literally the exact opposite. Because Japanese subbed anime character voices are freaking annoying. Also, the subtitles move too fast, but that's not really against anything. Um, my English today is awful. Um, but yeah, that sums that up. Like I said, it wasn't gonna go that fast. Also, this means absolutely nothing. But Kid Goku winning, by the way, is 100% accurate. Um, and it's actually kind of sweet. Even though this came out months ago, which is where my preferred character's winning whole shtick was pretty consistent. Had some losses here and there, but was doing pretty good. If this had come out like yesterday, I would have sung its praises. Um, but oh well. But yeah, Kid Goku winning is nice. I don't care for Kid Goku, and he's freaking annoying. I don't watch Hunter x Hunter, so that just kind of gets in the way. And I love Dragon Ball. I hate Super, but I love Dragon Ball. And it's accurate, even though it's Patreon Punch Out, where it pretty much follows DBX's style. Same with Turbo Mode, whenever that comes back.
But you get to pay for the winner.
Oh yeah, yeah. Not me because I'm not made of money. Um, um, all right, so that's literally it. Like that. What what sounded like a huge like catch up, like our upcoming Death Battle comeback. Um, we literally had four things to talk about, which
Well,
is
technically five now.
oh yeah, which is why because we only talked about four things today. Um, we are doing something else. We didn't do this last time because of time, um, and because of space, and because of just didn't really think about it and other things. Um,
I would go first one. Cut us some slack.
Screw off. Um, uh, uh, yeah. Um, we're in our traditional generic bonus topic. Um, although this time it's not what our favorite episodes are or least favorite episodes are. Just watch the last episode. Just watch our first BrobusCast on Battle Royale, and you'll know exactly what the answers to those two questions are. Yeah, I guess. Um, um, so this time we're talking about fights we want to see. We basically uh, pretty much came up with we're both gonna say two. Um,
Yeah. And then there's one where we'll cover that. I'll explain that.
Okay. Do you want to go first? Yeah, you go first. You can go first.
Okay. So
Oh, I should also note I have no idea what he's gonna bring up. So.
oh well,
Oh, actually no. I know one. I know one. Um,
I,
and I'll probably know the other one if you when you bring it up. But
okay.
my memory is not that great. So
Okay. So this one is very. I've seen it requested a lot in the battle royale scene. Which I really want. I really like the idea of the mad. And I think it'd be very, very entertaining, given the nature of these two characters. Although considering how well, never mind. It's
get on
Hercule
with
scene
it.
from
Anyways,
Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat versus Hercule scene from Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball.
yeah, whatever your preference is. Although we're probably gonna get hounded in the comment section. Um, because we can't. Because apparently, when it comes to the internet, if we butcher even the slightest bit of Dragon Ball, they're gonna be mad. Um, uh, Dragon Ball fans, man. Um,
Yeah.
by the way, here's a big screw you to Dragon Ball fans. 18 was just Captain Marvel. Get over it.
Anyway.
Um,
Yeah. So this one, Johnny versus Hercule. I saw this requested by the previous runner of Battle Royale, Adam Gregory, and I really like the idea. Like they're both like how do I put like they're both I don't know how
they're losers.
well not as losers. But they're basically both like kind of stars in their series.
Oh yeah, I didn't even consider that. Um, yeah, basically these two were actors. I literally just realized that connection now, but it makes total sense. Um, they're both actors. They're both semi-decent fighters, and then you compare them to higher tier characters in their franchise, and then they freaking suck. Um, that's just what happens when you get normal humans. Um, yes, I'm making fun of that. Get over it. Um, uh, I have not. I should note I have researched Hercule. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Um, um, maybe,
Oh,
maybe.
anyway.
I have not researched Johnny Cage. I have a decent idea. Um, I'm a Mortal Kombat fan, so I know my fair share of Johnny Cage. So it's not like I'm not knowledgeable in who wins. Um,
Yeah. Although I mainly just want to see this. And with all the jokes
yeah. And I guess I'll be the like some people will look at these two and they're like, oh, they're freaking losers. And I'm like, well, okay. On one hand, you're right. Um, on the other
the other
on the other hand,
on the
on the other hand, you're wrong. If that
yeah,
makes
but Johnny like I
you're
know Johnny's kept up with like a lot of the big like mainstays of I know he's fought Sonya, he's fought
ba-
Kano.
basically you're right, but you're basically if you say they're losers, you're right, but you're wrong. If that makes any sense. Um, yeah. Sorry for interrupting, but yeah, basically, yeah. Johnny's fought Sonya. He's fought Kano. He fought Reptile. Fought Baraka.
He fought Scorpion and Mortal Kombat. No, he's fought Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Yeah. But he fought Scorpion. He fought Sub-Zero. He fought Jax. By the way, the latter three were demon possessed at the time. And he also like whooped Shinnok. Um, So, unfortunately, Johnny does not get like higher tier Mortal Kombat scaling. You know, the characters that are actually like competent. Like, you know, the god tiers of Mortal Kombat. So people like Raiden or Shao Kahn or Naga or the Elder Gods or maybe Liu Kang, if you want to stretch that enough. He does not scale to any of them. So he's just another one. He's just another one of your Mortal Kombat normies. And Mortal Kombat normies are actually pretty close to what Hercule can do. So it's relatively even, actually, which is very neat. Which is a unique concept when it comes to Mortal Kombat normal tier matchups. It's usually either they're usually either put up against super weak characters where they obviously win, or they're competent enough to beat characters who don't get like who don't get any scaling. Like, for example, I'd wager that I know people suggest not for Battle Royale, but just for versus as a whole. People talk about Johnny Cage versus Fei Long from Street Fighter. Yeah, which it's a working matchup, and it's definitely a heck of a lot better than Johnny Cage versus Dan Hwee. Spoilers for those who don't know versus Johnny Stomps. Or Fei Long versus Liu Kang, which I'm pretty sure Liu Kang wins. Fei Long doesn't get Street Fighters like higher tier Street Fighters. It's him and Blanca, and maybe Balrog, and obviously Dan. They don't get higher tier Street Fighter scaling. Like, they don't take part in the story at all. So they get no scaling that puts them above even like Mortal Kombat normal tiers. So Johnny beats Fei Long and Dan, and Liu Kang beats Fei Long.
Honestly, I would root for Johnny in this fight. Like, if it ever did
And
happen.
I don't care for Hercule. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I don't like Hercule. He's admittedly kind of funny, and I like the concept behind him, but he's just not. He reminds me of he reminds me too much of like Daxter from Jak and Daxter, or Plux from Skylar and Plux. For anyone who gives a crap about that game's existence.
Did you know it existed?
I only do because I watched Black Mage Maverick. Who did a review of that, and it's super entertaining. Although he talked absolute crap about it for good reasons, but still. I'll link it to you later. You know, like, Hercule is just one of those characters where it's like sometimes he can be funny, but more often than not he's just really annoying. Which, I mean, to be fair, I guess Johnny falls into that as well. Yeah, plus he's not annoying as often as Hercule is. As for how this fight goes, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong. I need to do more Johnny digging. I'm pretty sure Johnny wins. In quite an even fight, sure, but I don't know. I think Johnny wins. I don't know. Maybe I'll do more digging into it. Maybe. I guess the problem with this is how you animate it, because Johnny has literally no good sprites.
I'm sure that
Or they'll use one of his reskins, which basically the only characters in Mortal Kombat that get original, actual original sprites that aren't their live action sprites from the early games are Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Liu Kang. That's it. Everyone else either sticks to their live-action sprites, which are freaking ugly, or they're reskinned. And reskinned ones aren't that great. I saw one for Shao Kahn, it was not good. Wherever they got to make the Dragon Leo sprites. There you go. I don't know. Well, it could be entertaining. There's definitely an episode there. There's definitely a fight there.
And I'm sure if they made
I seriously hope that someone makes more Mortal Kombat sprites before that happens. Until then, probably best to use Scorpion and Liu Kang first. Problem is just finding matchups for them that aren't like either freaking awful or super huge obvious stomps. I know people are gonna say Scorpion versus Ghost Rider. And I'm like interesting matchup, but
Rip Scorpion.
Yeah, Rip Scorpion.
Anyway, we've been talking about this one long enough. I think it's time to go on.
Time for the second one.
This one, I know a certain other show was gonna do this before it dropped.
Oh,
but
I know where this is going.
And I mean, I don't know if you'd be offended if I talked about this, but I just really think it'd be a good fight for Battle Royale, which is Sonic versus Mega Man.
Yeah, this is totally original. Okay, negative jokes aside, this matchup is done a lot. I mean, it's talked about a lot. Yeah, I guess. Mega Man would be a returning character. I don't know. I definitely think that if this ever happens, I definitely won't hold it against them or anything. There's this constant urge to the back of my head every time I think of this matchup. It's like there's gotta be counter options. There's gotta be. Is there? Maybe. I can't think of it. I can't think of any, but. I will. Basically, the context behind the whole context behind what he's avoiding. Brand. No, I'm going all in. Screw it. Brandon Gaming VA, who is now an editor for Faster Rex, once had his own versus show called All-Star Showdown, which I was not really fond of, but ZDogg was, and he was a researcher for it. And Brandon stopped working on it, and one of his the very first matchup that he announced was this. It was Sonic versus Mega Man. And then he had to do more. He needed more time to work on it, I think. also, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong. But also, if I remember correctly, I was talking to him about it. Like, why did you actually stop so people can shut the heck up? Because people were under the assumption that Crossover X made him stop, which he said several times that he that's not the reason. But yeah, I don't recall. But I don't recall him actually like ever publicly saying like his reason. Like, I mean, like on YouTube and whatever, like where people who like are like brain dead. Yeah, I know. I mean, like, because to the YouTube viewers who, as I said, are brain dead. Am I exaggerating? Probably, but it just goes to show how antagonistic some people on YouTube can do. I say that, and you have to remember the first like 45 minutes of this episode. Okay. Alright, all that aside, yeah, to them it just kind of seemed like he just wanted, like Crossover X, like BJT or Ray or whatever, they went up to him and was like, hey, you need to stop working on your show if you want to work with us. He was like, okay. And he was like, okay. He was like, okay, fine. Like, I don't want to work with you guys. Like, I really want to work with you guys. Like, I'll do anything to work with you guys. It's like, okay. No, I know. Yeah. Also, if I remember what I was getting at, if I remember correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I was talking to him about like, okay, so people think that, and that's totally wrong. Like, what is the actual reason? Like, just kind of going more in depth. I believe he said that he just kind of lost interest in working on All-Star Showdown. Oh gosh, this map again. Thank you. He just stopped. He just lost interest. He just stopped caring. Probably not. But you get the idea. So basically, yeah. All-Star Showdown is basically like he just lost interest and he wanted to work on something else bigger. So he decided to like move over to Crossover X. No, I know, but you know, let's just like roll with certain things. Yeah. Okay. TLDR of everything, as well as just a quick little note to add on to all of it, and we just move on because we're stretching this. Requested matchup makes sense. Cool characters. Was going to be a part of another versus show. And then to top it all off, Mega Man wins. The end. Oh yeah. If you were one of those people who were annoying the crap out of Brandon for quitting All-Star Showdown, just stop. He doesn't care, and you're wasting your time. That sounded savage, and that may or may not have been intentional. I may or may not have intentionally been savage, but it's just annoying. You need to remember who these two are. Okay, with ZDogg it makes sense because he was a researcher and he enjoyed the show. But with me personally, it shouldn't sound like I was supporting the guy because I wasn't really a fan of the show. But I still have respect for Brandon himself. I appreciate what he was trying to do. I just wasn't that into it. But even I will admit the constant theories have been getting on my nerves. Even though they have like literally no effect on me. He's in some Discord servers I'm in, including the crossover, the headquarters one, obviously. He's in Leo's server. He's in Leo's server. I think that's it though. But yeah, we talk sometimes. He's a mod in Leo's server actually. Alright, so yeah, cool matchup, cool characters, makes sense. Mega Man wins the end. I guess. Oh yeah. I guess people will probably want to. We just kind of said Mega Man wins. We never really went into it. He's stronger. He's actually like. It's gonna sound surprising. It's gonna sound surprising. He's actually faster. Like he's faster. He's stronger. He's got more to work with. He's way more destructive. He literally can one-shot Sonic before he goes into Super Sonic, and even Super Sonic can't save him. Is it unfortunate? A little bit. Is it unfortunate? A little bit. Although the assault from Sonic fanboys would be freaking glorious, and somewhat annoying, but. Oh gosh, please. This is BrobusCast Battle Royale edition, except not really. There we go. That's not even our title, even though it totally fits. Alright, it's my turn. It's my turn, and my matchups aren't great, but you know I had to keep somewhat original because I'm not just gonna suggest death battle matchups like that. Like I know people expect me, but I'm not gonna. I know people expect me to, but I'm never gonna suggest the crossover X Death Crash versus Spyro, because it's more death battle suggested. Like they've always had this sort of philosophy that death battle matchups. Are less like matchups that are so suggested for death battle are less likely to happen. Just for reasons that exist. So I will be suggesting Crash against Spyro at some point. I have a few matchups, but you know whatever. They're not against each other, which is actually. Which, if you know me personally, that sounds surprising, and I don't blame you at all.
Yeah, but I mean, it's your most wanted. It's your most wanted death match.
I just want someone to do it and do it right and do it and make it good. That's the thing. It's the matchup that's most emotionally attached to me, and I have not seen a single one on YouTube do it right and do it good.
Yeah, but
Which is so bizarre, but please someone fix that. And if I have to do it on my own, which I probably will, then I will. That's not English. This is the podcast where grammar and English and sentences that make sense go to die.
what's a grammar?
I know, right? I's as good as the English is. Okay. Okay, matchups. My matchups are big, huge stomps. Not even gonna lie.
They're pretty cool stuff.
First off, just a quick fire. Bowser versus King K. Rool, and people on Crossover X's Discord servers are really gonna hate me. Which, screw you. I don't even care. Bowser versus King K. Rool. I know people say Bowser versus King DDD, but that's just honestly not that. People say, "Oh, look at this matchup. It's so great," and I'm like, "Yeah, but this one's better, even though it's a bigger stomp." Quick fire because I don't know. I like speed. I don't know. Bowser stomps both. He's like, people just don't understand how ridiculously powerful Bowser is. So yeah, I want to match up with I want to match up with Bowser just because I want them to use the freaking Bowser's Inside Story sprites. Not even kidding. That's a little.
Although it would be if they did do that, it would be
Yeah.
not the SDS ones. Maybe.
Those are comparable to the live-action Mortal Kombat sprites.
I've actually seen some good ones from, I think, one of the game. I think it was Jungle Climb for the Game Boy Advance.
He probably has some Mugen sprites, maybe. He's super popular, especially now because people are begging and begging and begging and begging for him to be in Smash Brothers. And I'm super uber salty he's not, but whatever. This isn't the Smash Bros. Podcast, even though it has Smash Bros. Music. Yes, I'm putting in Smash Bros. Music, alright? Just whatever.
Okay, sorry.
I always put with Battle Royale podcast. I'm always gonna put in Smash music because the intro. Basically, like, honestly, I say Bowser versus King K. Rool because it's the one that sticks out to me the most, and I think it's a better matchup than Bowser versus DDD. Say that 5 times fast. Please don't. Just to stage yourself. Honestly, like, do a matchup with Bowser, do him right, and have and use Bowser's Inside Story sprites. And honestly, at that point, I really don't care who he fights.
Also, a K. Rool matchup.
Yeah.
Maybe they could do K. Rool versus DDD.
Oh yeah, K. Rool versus DDD works too.
I would honestly want to see that as a death battle, though. Even more than Warriors.
As long as K. Rool doesn't fight Luffy, I don't care.
No, that's for universe.
No, nope. Not even universes. Like, like, keep K. Rool away from Luffy.
Also, just so you know, another reason I just want to bring up this point. They also shouldn't do battle recipes. Showing how their show is doing it.
Oh, yeah, whatever. I also like don't do Bowser versus DDD because other people who we work with have done it, and it's also just overdone and not really that interesting. Mediocrity. Okay, moving on. Also, Bowser is quality, so he wins that too. All right, next up. Basically, it's like basically this next one is literally the exact same thing, just replace Bowser with Virgil. Because Virgil is freaking wonderful. I freaking love the guy.
And replace K. Rool with Silver or Jetstream Sam. You said, right?
Yeah, basically, I don't care who you. As long as it's interesting and it's not Luigi, because screw that noise. As long as it's not Luigi, Sephiroth, or Sesshomaru. Put Virgil against anybody. I don't care. Also, you're better off, like, as cool as it would be, you're better off just getting voice clips for Virgil. Just because of how distinct his voice is. Although, if you could find a good Virgil voice actor, like praise to the sun to you, but you can try, but but you are more likely to fail.
Yeah, that's what the casting call was for.
I know, but even then. Okay, anyways, basically just like Bowser, I have to pick someone, and if I have to pick someone, I guess I would like to see Virgil go up against Jetstream Sam from Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Um, I have the sneaking suspicion that Jetstream Sam was based off of Virgil. Maybe not in terms of like maybe not in terms of personality or design, but they definitely do similar abilities. In fact, I think they actually have the same ability where they can cut things from far away, like Virgil's Judgment Cut. I have not looked into how powerful Sam is. If he gets Raiden scaling, I think he wins. Because Virgil might be, no matter what, Virgil's stronger. But so no matter what, Virgil's stronger, and is strong enough to slice through Sam with like no difficulty whatsoever. Meanwhile, Sam is faster, I think, and is definitely fast enough to overtax Virgil's healing factor, which isn't exactly hard. You just have to get past Virgil. That's the problem. But once you do, then you're good. Really, it just kind of depends on if Sam it just depends on how much faster Sam is. Because no matter what, he's faster. But I think, but if he gets Raiden scaling, then I think he's because Virgil doesn't have the same he doesn't have the same time slowing ability that Dante does with Quicksilver. So it doesn't give him the for example, I know people say, oh, how about Dante versus Raiden, which is interesting, but Dante whoops the crap out of Raiden. And people are like, well, Raiden's faster. Like, yeah, but Dante's faster with Quicksilver. Which he is, but still. Yeah. If Sam does not get Raiden scaling, I think Virgil is not totally outclassed enough in terms of speed to lose. So basically, Sam wins if he gets Raiden scaling. He loses if he doesn't. I think. I have researched Virgil. I have not researched Sam. So I think that's how that goes. But honestly, there are so many options for Virgil. Basically, just find a samurai that has even the slightest bit of similarities to Virgil. It probably works. Most people say, how about Virgil versus Silver Samurai? Which I think Virgil wins. And then how about people how about Virgil versus Adam Taurus from Ruby, which Virgil slaughters, which is beautiful because Adam is a freaking terrible character, and your only mate will probably watch this and agree wholeheartedly. But that one's not really that interesting, and I would be surprised if they tackled much of Ruby in general. But I guess I wouldn't be against it by any means. Just I don't see it. I don't know what's I don't know what's the more likely. Oh, also Kazuya from Tekken is suggested. So that's also, that also works. Because because people are like, oh, look at Tekken, it's so strong. The grunts of the first can just are island level or whatever, which is actually have just been discovered, are all from non-canon video games. so they wouldn't be counted for. Unless you're desperate for a Tekken victory, which some people actually are.
Leo,
Yeah. Um,
specifically Johnny.
um, yeah. So I am getting I'm hearing beeping in my earbuds, um, and I'm not actually getting anything, which is weird. Um,
I somehow left the call, so
oh, that makes sense. Oh, hey, hang on.
uh-oh.
Hey,
Is that
no, no, we're good. My watch went off because it's midnight.
oh.
I can't get that to stop doing that. It's super annoying. Um,
Also, we should probably cut this out.
no, this is not a professional podcast, so um,
Anyway,
okay. Anything with Bowser, as long as you use Bowser's inset story sprites, um, and you don't, screw him over. Um, uh, and anything with Virgil, as long as he has the illusion of winning, um, and is an interesting idea, and you don't screw him over. although people don't real, Although people tend to overplay Virgil. The problem with Bowser, it's more that they don't understand how powerful he is. Like they think, oh, he's actually not that, like he's this level, and I'm like, you're severely downplaying the guy. With Virgil, it's the other way around, um, because they always give him Dante scaling, which is so annoying. It's absolutely like I love Virgil. He's great. And if he did legit scale to Dante, he would win every single one of these matchups we have just mentioned, no matter what. Um, um, but uh, Virgil dies before Dante gets before Dante gets his higher tier feats. Um, like they're mostly from the anime, which by then Virgil's already dead. Um,
yeah.
so he does not scale to Dante at all. And even if
Oh,
he, um, and even if he does, there are certain matchups that are suggested for him uh, that we will not mention where he still loses. Um, but yeah. So Virgil does not scale to Dante, but even if he does, he still beats Adam. He probably still beats Silver Samurai, and he beats Jetstream Sam unless Sam gets Raiden scaling, which he loses. Um, Also, Bowser wins against pretty much every single one of his possible opponents, except Juggernaut, because screw that noise. Um,
exactly.
I freaking hate the idea of Bowser versus Juggernaut. Although Juggernaut is so hard to find a matchup for, so I guess like I swear I'm gonna stand by this. Okay, I swear if Juggernaut is put into any sort of versus show and he fights freaking Broly from Dragon Ball Z, I will legit lose my mind and bash my head against my desk. Not even
Uh,
not even exaggerating. Spoilers for those who don't for those who don't know. Versus Juggernaut stomps both. Um, uh, the end. So that's that. So basically, Johnny versus Hercule, Sonic versus Mega Man, Bowser versus whoever, Bowser's Sprite versus whoever, um, uh, Virgil versus someone versus someone who is close to him in terms of stats. Uh,
and I actually have one more topic or fight suggestion that kind of depends. So, can I bring that up real quick?
so long as it's quick.
Okay, so it involves Ghost Rider, um, which
Oh boy.
I admit would be very cool to see in Battle Royale. But there's a bit of a problem. Okay, so me and Brobuscus,
Oh no.
okay, so
Why do I get the sneaking suspicion that I know where this is going?
because you do, so we both have matchups we want to see for Ghost Rider. This is mainly involving Death Battle, which is Ghost Rider versus Spawn and Ghost Rider versus Lobo. So, um, so both of us, I want to see Ghost Rider versus Spawn for Death Battle. He wants to see Ghost Rider versus Lobo. So, if we could do us a favor, if Death Battle does Ghost Rider versus Lobo, which I wouldn't complain about, I would like you to do Ghost Rider versus Spawn. Which actually, now that I think about it, would be better for Battle Royale since it would be new. It'd be new for both characters, and it'd be really cool to see.
Rip Ghost Rider.
But if BB does Ghost Rider vs. Spawn, do Ghost Rider vs. Lobo.
See, the thing about Ghost Rider versus Lobo is that it's actually a debate. Kidding. Oh, that's actually true. The thing about Ghost Rider versus Lobo, which is why I love it so much, is that like not only is it like, even though some people hate this reason, I personally love it. It's just your generic Marvel versus DC stuff. But they also like they literally act and sound like they were made for each other. Like maybe not in terms of personality, but they both have similar ranged options. They both use chains for weapons. They both ride really awesome motorcycles. They are both undead hell spawns, basically. Although I guess Spawn is too. And he also fights with chains, although he doesn't have a sick motorcycle. The other thing is that there's just so much you have to think about in terms of who wins between Ghost Rider and Lobo. It's kind of like a Green Arrow versus Hawkeye or Thor versus Wonder Woman, just for comparison. It's like it's so unbelievably close. Like there's so much you have to consider to give either character the win. In fact, like people are obviously saying like Green Arrow versus Hawkeye, it's so close to be considered a tie, which it is, but it was like Thor versus Wonder Woman. Thor outclasses Wonder Woman in almost everything. It's just that Wonder Woman is just like ridiculously faster. So like, can she get hit by Thor? Or, I don't know. But then can she kill Thor? I don't know. It's kind of the same thing. I don't know who wins out in stats. I'm pretty knowing just the whole scaling between these two franchises, like Marvel and DC as a whole. I'm pretty sure Lobo wins in stats, and they both have like ridiculous hacks that can give them the win. And Ghost Rider has what's his face, Zarathos or whatever. I forget. Which is like this like. But even without it, Ghost Rider's like a mid-tier Marvel character. Like people call it cosmic level. Like there's your basic Marvel Street Leveler, there's somewhere in the middle, there's cosmic level, then there's heralds, then there's Skyfathers, and then there's the universal characters. Like Skyfathers are like people like Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, or Galactus and stuff like that. And then there's heralds that are like Silver Surfer, Thor, characters like that. Then there's cosmic level characters, which are like Iron Man, Ultron, Hulk, the Fantastic Four, and Ghost Rider. And then there's like your basic Marvel Street Levelers like Winter Soldier, Punisher, Captain America, Spider-Man, Blade, kind of thing. And also Wolverine, just for earlier topic callbacks. Ghost Rider's around your. I think he's superior to the Hulk. I think. Like he beats out the Hulk, Hercules, and Iron Man. I think he's barely outclassed by Ultron, and just by numbers, he loses to the Fantastic Four. And then there's Heralds. Then there's Heralds, which destroy him.
Well, he did kill Galactus. He killed Galactus one time with Independence too.
Oh yeah, I guess. I'm pretty sure that was like a one-time thing. So, so it's not like it's gonna give Ghost Rider like galaxy level stuff. Although if it did, I would be all over that stuff. Which means he would actually beat Spawn. Alright, and Lobo, on the other hand, he's, I think he's around that level as well. Like he's around the mid-tier DC characters. Like he beats out DC street levelers by a long shot, and gets slaughtered by DC Herald tiers like Wonder Woman or the Lanterns or Black Adam, stuff like that. And then Skyfather's like Darkseid, pre-Crisis Superman would be Universal. I like amped up, no holds barred, most powerful version of Superman that's not pre-Crisis. You know, general characters like that. I'm trying desperately. I guess Starfire would be a good comparison. Like Starfire and the higher tier Teen Titans, like Starfire and Raven and Cyborg. They're around the cosmic level of DC characters. So I guess they're around there as well, and they also both have like the most ridiculous healing factors I've ever seen. So it's like, how can they kill each other? Spoilers, they can't. It kind of just boils down to like who would win more times than not, and if it's potentially Ghost Rider, can he like can he like BFR, which means battlefield removal, by the way. Lobo with like the penance stare and stuff. I think he can. I have not researched it enough to know for sure, but I think he can, which is why I'm giving it to Ghost Rider just by a small margin. Although if Lobo has something that puts him in Herald tier DC stuff, then completely ignore everything and he wins. Meanwhile, there's Spawn, who at his peak and at his most powerful, not including God Spawn, because screw God Spawn. It puts him more like multi-galaxy level, which slaughters Ghost Rider. So, plus like Lobo is plus both Ghost Rider and Lobo. Okay, not to disrespect Spawn, but Ghost Rider and Lobo are bringers of quality. Not to disrespect Spawn, but he's not as quality. Basically Lobo has more quality than Spawn, and Ghost Rider has more quality than the two of them combined, in my opinion. I went on a tangent. Yeah, Ghost Rider versus Lobo, but not as a honestly not as a battle royale, because it deserves the 3D treatment. So I guess for a battle royale, I guess I'll accept Ghost Rider versus Spawn. But I like Spawn, but I don't like him that much. No. I meant like Spawn slaughters both. Like Spawn slaughters Ghost Rider and Lobo. Meanwhile, Ghost Rider versus Lobo is on par with Thor versus Wonder Woman for the title of closest to Green Arrow versus Hawkeye in terms of fairness as we are ever gonna get. So
Until Spawn versus Joshua. Let's think of a mismatch.
I mean, so like with God, it's even worse with Godspawn, um, which he does not have. It's the same. It's kind of the same thing as a lot of all the other alternate forms for certain characters. It's like he had them and then he got rid of them for reasons that are either clear or not, and if they're or understandable or not. Whatever. Um, uh, so so it's gonna sound totally weird to say because of all the stuff I talked about with Ghost Rider versus Lobo. Um, unless you can make it work, um, Crossover X, please don't do it because unless you can do 3D stuff or you can work like absolute god tier magic with 2D animation, it just wouldn't work out. It deserves 3D treatment, and I mean, you probably have 3D animators like in the back, and we have no idea. And if that's the case, then forget it. Ghost Rider vs. Lobo. But considering I don't know, or I'm just gonna go into the assumption that you don't. Um, so, yeah, I get like if I have to, at the very least, it's not Ghost Rider versus Scorpion. So I'm okay with it. Like honestly, like people are always asking, like, what would you rather see, Ghost Rider versus Scorpion or Ghost Rider versus Spawn? It's like, well, first off, neither. Ghost Rider versus Lobo for the win. If you had me at gunpoint or whatever, and I had to pick one of the two, I guess I would pick Ghost Rider versus Spawn. Because last time Spawn was used in a popular researched versus show, his opponent just wasn't worthy enough. And Ghost Rider is stronger than that. So
Which one was that?
that was the Kratos fight. That was the one that nobody remembers or cares about, and I don't blame them for it.
I'll just take. And
It's
besides,
it's it's Spawn versus Kratos. I'm talking about Spawn versus
Oh,
Kratos.
right. Never mind.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Kratos
and I
wasn't
mean,
worthy.
yeah, and I mean, at least we're not talking about a certain. But I don't even want to get into that because it'll make you mad. And this has already been going on for long enough, so I'd say just end it here.
Yeah, let's do that. We dragged on too much, and we are
Yes, we
about
did.
to reach the 2 hour mark. Thank you,
We're not.
thank you, new setup. I can now see how long we've been recording.
Yep. Yay.
Okay, so that's that. Was this the Battle Royale podcast? I don't know. Um,
Yeah, I think it was.
I think I think it was for like the first 10 minutes, and then we got sidetracked, and then 15 minutes later we got back to it being a Battle Royale podcast, and it was just repeat, repeat, repeat until Ghost Rider happened.
Well, I mean,
Kind of.
I don't know. Ghost Rider's cool, and I want to see them.
Oh yeah, Ghost Rider's cool.
As long as they fight Spawn.
Okay, we're
Right?
done.
As long as yeah,
Ghost Rider is the bringer of quality, so he wins everything. Total 100% accurate, 100% beautiful, 100% not going to happen in terms of actual research. Um, uh, so, yeah, this was the Battle Royale podcast's return, I think. Um, uh, um,
I guess.
yeah, bye, I guess. This is like welcome to the return of BrobusCast, and now welcome to the end of the return, and welcome to just absolute butchering of everything, because what the heck?
Just end it already.
Yeah, okay, we're done. We're done.
Bye.
Welcome.
Bye.
This is what we return to. This is This is BrobusCast's return, and we're talking about absolutely freaking nothing. All right, we're done. We're done now.